Hey guys, Huz here, bringing you another full game commentary, this time on Gragas mid. Now, Gragas mid is one of my favourite champions to play. He's pretty damn funny, and especially with this Oktoberfest skin, I mean, come on, look how good he looks. Especially with his base back doing the big, jig of the German beer festival. Now, we're going to say generally about my team comp, we have decided to run a AoE disturbance comp, basically meaning that 3 of our champions have big AoE disturbance, which you could kind of also count a Nasus, which you could kind of say with 4. So with the AoE actual disturbance, we have a Gragas that can push people around, we have a Leona that has general AoE stuns, and we have a Cho'Gath that obviously has his AoE silence and his AoE stun. Now you could also say the Nasus in the middle of them will be creating a disturbance, but generally we just want to say by spells. And then we also have an Ezreal that will be at the back poking them and using an AoE ultimate also. Now the enemy that we are going against is it's basically a hyper aggressive team. We've got a Darius top that if he gets fed, obviously that is a very bad position for us, even though a Gragas kind of counters a Darius and a Jax. And if you ask how does it counter, basically as soon as they're about to jump on somebody, I can literally just ult them away and there you go, the threat is gone. Now, starting items on Gragas, a lot of people nowadays do build Red Elixir on him, which, I do build generally if I were to go in a normal lane. But the lane against Lux is a very intensive poke lane versus me. She will be poking me like hell. So I decided to go for more of a sustained start, trying to just build up an early CS, either lead or try to go even with her in CS. Now, one thing I do have to say about the Lux, some champions are good to start Red Elixir, and some champions I would say stay away from. There's no point building it. It's better to get something else. Now, Lux is one of these champions. Now, she's built Red Elixir, which I will argue that is not the right thing to do, and you're about to see why I believe this is the case. As you'll see, Lux is helping with the red buff, which obviously a Jax early game is rather squishy. And look at the mana already on Lux. She has 1/3 mana already. And she does not have any mana sustain items in her inventory apart from 1 mana potion. So you actually see quite often in the early game, this Lux is on quite low mana, which arguably, sure she's using her auto attacks on me a lot, but, I'd rather have the mana sustain on a Lux. Obviously, Lux is also one of my most played champions this season, so I do know Lux fairly well. I probably will be bringing you a Lux full play commentary sometime in the near future, as I know some people have been asking for one. Now, on Gragas early, I tend not to go aggressive, as his base damage is not great. His AP ratios is pretty damn good. Jax is coming in for an early gank. Basically, I escape it with the E, and, no harm done. And top lane there is a gank coming on. We're going to look at this because this is actually a point in the game that actually defines what's happening. So he tries to dupe to the right, does hit the Q, so that is maybe a little bit of communication error that they should have killed the Darius together. But this Jax is looking rather strong right now, obviously does quite a lot of damage. And the minion actually picks up the Cho'Gath in the end, as well as the red buff. So Eben does manage to pick up the Jax, but then the Darius kills the Nasus. So right now that's a 2-for-1 trade, and they also got first blood, and the Darius got double buff. So right now not a great situation for our top lane and Nasus. Mid lane, I'm still just trying to farm. I've built up a little CS lead, nothing to boast about, but still having a CS lead against a Lux is pretty good. As you can see, she's trying to poke me as much as she can, but I've just noticed something that, is key. Her mana's quite low, my mana's quite low, sure, but I've got a Fairy Charm. My mana will be regenning more than her, and I know some people have been asking what runes and masteries I take. Runes and masteries on Gragas, I've taken Magic Mana Pen Reds, Mana Regen Yellows, Magic Resist Blues, and AP Quints. It's quite a standard build. You can do a lot of variations on Gragas, taking, health yellows or the hybrid reds, that type of thing, but I've decided to go for this as, against their team, I don't generally want to be in the middle of a team fight with a Jax and a Darius, so, that's why I haven't taken the hybrid marks. Jax coming in for a gank here, obviously using all the LOS possible, so I have no idea he's here at this point. Cho'Gath coming in for a gank, but then the Jax does something really good. Flashes on top of me and basically gives me no time to react. Now, one thing to note, the Lux did actually use Ignite there when I was basically dead. So that's probably a waste of a summoner spell, but obviously securing the kill probably was her mentality. Pretty good gank by the Jax. Nothing much I could have done about that apart from having probably a early ward around this area. Returning back to lane, I've picked up myself a Chalice just for a bit more sustain and magic resist versus the Lux. Now, top lane, as you'd probably expect, well, maybe not expect, but the Nasus has actually pushed against the Darius, which is not great. Obviously, Darius tanking up the minions just to make sure that he's going to get all the XP and farm from this. But you will expect the Darius to start zoning the Nasus. Now, bot lane, a fairly standard lane. Thresh is probably the most overplayed champion in the game right now as support. It seems that people just love to play him, which arguably, he is a really fun champion to play. In all honesty, I have recently just played my first game on him, and I did really enjoy him. But an Ezreal Leona generally should win, or maybe not win, but maybe go even if the MF does not get an early lead, as that is the strength to an MF. Now, MF doesn't use the Lantern here, and I have no idea why. If she used Lantern, she would have got away, much easier. But unfortunately, with all blocking and everything going on, the Cho'Gath wasn't able to get around for the stun. Mid lane, I'm pushing up the Lux, obviously trying to use her mana if possible. She has picked up Chalice, so she does have mana regen. But still, I believe that she may go quicker than myself. So pushing up the lane, so she has to use spells to last hit. Bot lane, still stuff going on. Cho'Gath looped around to come in for another gank, but again an unsuccessful gank. Now, the time when you can start going a bit more aggressive on a Gragas is around level 6. This is when your damage will increase somewhat, and you got your ultimate for disturbance. Now, we know Jax is in this bush. We have a ward here, but I tell my Cho'Gath I don't want to fight right now. Lux has just hit level 6, and I myself am not. So it would be a an unwise decision to fight right now. Jax is backing off right now, so I do see that he's backed off. So that's given me a bit more confidence in lane to just make sure I can get all these last hits. And as you can see, that I have built up a lead in CS. Now, obviously, I have lined up all these CS boxes for you guys. So if you do want to look at who's ahead in CS, just look down at the bottom. But we will have a quick glance of the Jax is ahead of a Cho'Gath. I'm ahead of the Lux. MF's ahead of the Ezreal, but Ezreal is just coming back into lane where the MF has not based recently, or has not based at all, sorry. Support is kind of irrelevant at this point, and top lane, as you'd probably expect, the Darius is ahead. Here is the first point that it goes pretty damn good for us. Coming in for a gank, obviously being counter-ganked by the Jax. Bam! Barrel him back into tower. He takes one tower hit. And, easy kill. Now, I basically misinterpret where he's going to, jump away or move. We're also going for the Lux. Now, here we go. So this would have been good for the Lux. She does a full combo on me, doesn't do much damage, and there we go, a kill for me. One thing to note, she's picked up a Fortitude Elixir. She still has Fortitude Elixir. She may have survived if she actually remembered to use it. So that's telling me that she is not used to having a Fortitude Elixir on a Lux. So why do it? She probably thought that I'd take one, so she was doing a counter of a Fortitude Elixir, as shown in my Kale gameplay if you guys have not seen that. But still, I will probably say that it was a mistake on her part even going Fortitude Elixir anyway. If we look at bot lane, the Ezreal has actually picked up a lead on the MF. As I said, he was coming back into lane as the MF was about to base. So he was able to have basically 2 free waves where when they return to lane, the Ezreal and Leona have continued to poke the MF and Thresh. So right now, not much is going on. Their blue buff has spawned. Obviously, Jack started red buff first, so his blue timer is opposite to ours. Returning to mid lane, obviously right now I have got double buffs, and I turned basically my negative KD of being 0-1 to being a 2-1. So with double buffs as well, I am a pretty strong state at the moment. I picked up to my Catalyst, which is a pretty damn good item on Gragas. Obviously I will be going for the Rod of Ages this game, as I do want to get tanky. That's one thing. You can go a squishy build on Gragas and it can still work. Obviously picking up the double Dorans into the death cap, but I generally want to go tanky this game as I do have a Darius, MF and Jax. Roaming up top lane, and they have no vision ward. We do ask them if top lane has warded. Obviously he has a ward here, so they know Cho'Gath is coming in, but they think at this point they can 2v2 these guys, but they don't expect me coming in. Fight breaks out. I ult them both into the wall, so you know they get CC'd somewhat. Jax burns his flash, but still dies. Darius burns his flash and is still about to die. So overall, a pretty damn good trade for us. Obviously, only picking up a double kill on the Cho'Gath, but still picking up 150 gold for both me and Gragas. As obviously, if you guys don't know the gold, you know how gold splits in this game. If the kill is worth the full amount of gold, which, you know, not including bonuses, which is 300, it means that an assist will be worth 150, and they will be split. You know, if there's 2 people involved in assists, then they'll have 75 gold each. Now, Lux is roaming down bottom lane, seeing if she can do anything. We don't have any vision wards, which I have said she went down blue side. Our blue side, obviously, this side, and you guys don't have any vision wards, so just back off, which they have done. Now, if some people may question why that Thresh used his lantern before his hook, it's basically to bait out the Ezreal E. Some Threshers do it, but that it's not a great idea lining them up perfectly, as your Ez will never, like, E into somebody, or if he does, that would be a bit of a dirt moment for himself. So right now there's just a build-up of minions, letting the Ez even more free farm. Obviously Cho'Gath coming in, seeing if they can do anything, but they are rather low at this point. But as you can see on the minimap, I've decided to come in, seeing if I can do anything myself. That was Lux's full burst, only gets me to half health, and as you can see, the MF would do a lot more to me if she manages to get her ult on me. Bam, I do the combo to try and get the Thresh. Unfortunately, I don't manage to kill him, as if you can see, I do not have any AP items right now. If I had a blasting wand at that point, then that would have been a dead Thresh. Returning to base actually to go get an AP item, as I do realise this is the point in the game where I actually do want to start building damage, start racking up them kills if possible. So I do pick up the blasting wand, obviously building it into the catalyst, into eventually the rod. Now, one thing to note as well, boots on Gragas. You can delay your boots a bit more than a normal champion on Gragas, as obviously you do have the mobility spell in E, and I do actually max E second over W, as I do run mana regen blues this game. Yellows, sorry. Coming in for a gank in mid lane, obviously Lux does not have her flash, so this is quite an easy gank for us. She does manage to Q us both, but yeah, we still managed to pick up the kill, which is a great, you know, now I'm on a killing spree, as you can just see. Right now I'm still at a really strong state, pushing down the mid lane. That will probably allow me to go roaming somewhere. Now, Gragas is a really good roamer. I'd probably compare him to a Kassadin in his successful roams. Maybe even better than a Kassadin, as his ultimate can push people back the way they want. It's coming in bot lane, seeing if we can do something. Obviously, Leona actually distracting them, getting rid of their pink ward in river, sorry. So here we go. Going in for a just fight. Now, I know these guys are going to kill the MF, so there's no point me being there, but unfortunately with the Threshold, I was unable to pick up the Thresh. Pushing this lane in, obviously when you kill your opponent, you generally want to push it into their tower, as it will deny them CS and XP. And right now we've decided, yep, Dragon Point. At this point, we've killed their MF. We see their Jax was mid, but he's not really a threat at this point, so yeah. Now, Jax is a champion that I don't actually think is that good of a jungler. He can work, you know, he saw that early gank mid, but if you do not build him tanky, he will basically fall off completely if you don't do well. And right now you see this Jax being 1-3. He had a great start, but then kind of fell off as he started building damage, and us being the tanky team that we are, he doesn't do a lot to us anymore. Picking up the blue buff, and we do know that the Lux, I believe, is roaming up top lane, although we don't have many wards up there to prove this. Early Darius ult, which not great, and Lux ult, Nasa survives. Great. So that is a full combo, full ignite, and everything burned on the Nasus, and he still survives. And this is the point that you always realise that if your opponent is just going to simply run through lane. So here we go, bam, E, Q. Use, I think, ultimate to get her back into us, and there we go. She does use flash, which is arguably a dumb idea, because she's never going to get away from myself with me just constantly using E. So again, I am now 4-1, starting to get fed, starting to get to where the point that Gragas becomes a monster. Now, if we look at the goal differences, as we haven't done that yet this game, our jungler is ahead by 400 gold. Mid lane, I'm ahead by over 1.5. Bottom lane, AD, Ezreal ahead by 300. Supports, Leona ahead by 500, so pretty good difference. And top lane, our Nasus is behind by 300, but that was probably due to the CS lead, and as you can see. Obviously, if we look at all the CSs, apart from the jungles, obviously you would probably expect a Jax to outfarm a Cho'Gath, as he will have a slightly faster clear, especially if he's building damage like this Jax is. But I am somewhat ahead of this Lux in CS. Our Ezreal is 10 ahead of the MF, and obviously the top lane is losing, but that is probably to be expected. Fight going on bot lane, and pretty good fight so far. Gets a nice ult and gets a good combo, and there's a kill for our Ezreal. Flash to get the stun on, and a lovely double kill for the Ezreal. So really well played by both of them. Now top lane, we do realise that something might be happening up top lane. Cho'Gath does find a Gragas, a Jax, sorry, and as you can see, I am roaming mid. Bam, use my combo, get one kill. And it forces the Darius to go this way. And at this point, you should probably say that our Nasus should have backed off completely, as the Darius does realise he's going to die, but does manage to pick up the kill on the Nasus. So pretty well played overall by that Darius. Does realise he's going to die anyway, so manages to pick up a kill to kind of make it a little bit better. Coming back into mid lane, the Lux, I don't know what she's doing. She's kind of being, I don't know, cocky in a way. It's hard to say. I block her as much as I can, just making her, you know, basically an easy kill, ignite her up, and E over the wall to get a kill. I don't know what that Lux is doing at this point. I'm fed as hell as it is, and she's basically just giving me free kills. Never be that confident to keep farming, you know, right next to a tower as your lane opponent is just coming back into lane. As I've said this game, or if I haven't, I will say it now, this Lux is not one to buy wards. If you're a mid laner and don't buy wards, then shame on you. As you can see, normally in my inventory, in the mid to early game, I do carry a ward on me, and in late game, obviously, the later you go, you'll have less item slots available, so you do buy less wards. But if I do have an item slot available, I tend to pick up a ward if I have the gold for it. So as you can see, I've picked up my Rod of Ages still, and I have level 1 boots. I did pick him up after this. Now, this Chalice was basically just to help me in the early game. I don't believe I actually build this into Athene's. I just basically leave it there, as it did do its job early game of make me survive as much as I can, as obviously I only died to that one Jax gank. Decided to jump on me as the Lux was coming into lane, which is fine with me as I've got a Cho'Gath right next to me. So we're deciding to try and go for this kill, and I do the ultimate, but then the Jax flashes it, so he actually gets more away. Now that would have been a pretty damn good ultimate if he were not to flash, as it would have brought him straight back into myself and to the Cho'Gath. Now we're roaming bot lane, and as you can see this game, I do decide to actually roam quite a lot. Now this is quite funny, I was killing myself laughing on comms. Run up to this, doink. And there's no tower. Where are you going to go now? So quite an easy kill on our part. Pick up a assist on the MF. Right now I don't need any more kills, and we're trying to get our Ezreal fed. And he's currently 4-0. So pretty well played by our Ezreal. Starting to get fed himself. And also using his ultimate to clear out the Lux. Now as I say, this Lux is playing really cocky. She's still right next to this tower. If anybody even, you know, our Nasus is moving in to try and get a kill on her, as she's so pushed without vision. Bam, Nasus pops Ghost, and he's going in for the kill. Now, one thing you have to note, he is getting ahead of her pretty good, but he's about to probably get Q'd by her. And there's the Q. But right now, he's super strong, super tanky, so he's going in for the kill, and there you go. That Lux, again, she is basically playing pretty bad at this point. She started quite well. She was poking me quite a lot. Obviously not CSing quite, you know, really well, but got that early kill on me, or the assist on me with the help of the Jax. But basically she's not buying many wards. She's just picked up one now, but she's pushing the mid lane. She's like being up here when she's basically really easy to kill, and we decide to actually go on this MF. Bam, and I don't manage to secure the kill with my ult, but still managed to burst us quite a lot. So I'm heading my way over to blue buff, and if we look at my items right now, I have picked up myself the home guard boots, as it does help me just basically to get back into lane to basically get more kills. Now, one thing I have to say, I play my best when I am really confident, and that might be a very stupid thing to say, as probably most people will find that. But right now, I'm playing really, you know, well. I'm quite happy of how I'm playing. I'm having a good time with my friends on communication, and, you know, just having a good time, and that's when I play my best. These guys are trying to get a kill, you know, just desperately trying to get a kill. And Ezreal's moving in himself to try and stop this or get something himself. Lux does manage to pick up the kill, but that does reset her gold. So if I pick up any more kills on her, she will be worth the full 300. Nasus and myself are moving into lane. Obviously, Thresh did a fail flash there. Here we go. We're going to pick up probably some more kills. Just seeing what we can do. Darius has moved in. He's pretty damn strong at this point. So I'm just basically just kiting away. They won't be able to kill me if they can't catch me. Ezreal, does that manage to kill him? I don't think it does. No, it doesn't. Returning to mid lane. Now here we go. This is where Gragas, I love you, Gragas, I do. Bam! And I miss everything. As I said, Gragas, I love you, and Gragas, you fail. Now that is one thing you will see with Gragas is all the time, even Skara, you know, they do fail ults occasionally. Now these guys are trying to get me. I am on a really big killing spree. I decided to go down to Baron and help to secure the kill on Darius, and I make my way looping around to try and get a kill on these guys. E into the MF and pick up a kill, and now I am legendary. And basically the Lux is going to flash away, sure, but I'm Gragas. I can simply E back into you. Full burst doesn't do a lot to me. As I said, I am very tanky this game. I would probably compare the tankiness of bam. I flashed for that, but do manage to secure it with the Leona. But as I was saying, I would compare Gragas's tankiness with an Anivia with a similar build. Picking up the race probably before I back. If we see how much gold I've got 1400. I probably, in my mind right now, I'm thinking I want 1600 before I base. So I do decide to, you know, I was about to base, but then I see I don't have enough gold. Now dragons are spawned, which would give me the amount I need for my needlessly large rod. Obviously using spells anytime I can to proc the Gragas passive, which basically makes him regain 2% of his health over 4 seconds when he uses a spell. So he does have a little bit of sustain, you know, just by using spells. Thresh overextending somewhat and managed to pick up the kill on him there. Obviously not all of them are worth a whole lot of gold right now. Still picking up the kills, obviously just to deny them. Obviously, Darius also overextending. Now, they do a habit of this team. They're not buying a lot of vision. They're not putting down a lot of vision. And they are behind. If you are behind, put more vision than normal, as your enemy will be more confident in roaming in your jungle and that type of situation. So if you look what items I've picked up now, I've simply just bought my needlessly large rod. And I'm heading to bot lane. Obviously got my home guard boots, so I'm beating the Ezreal to the farm. Having a good laugh about beating him to this farm right now. Fail that golem cannon minion, which shame on me. Ezreal ulting. Basically, if you're asking what the hell was that ult, it was something along the lines of having ultimate. I said, you don't have ultimate. I don't even know where the conversation went. I have ultimate, I have ultimate. I said, okay, use it right now. He delayed it 1 second when I said it and then used it. And as soon as he, you know, used it, the cooldown just came back up. So, you know, pretty funny. At this current point, we're just having a good time. And that's one thing I like to say to everybody. If you're playing rank 5v5s, always have a good time with your team. Thresham ultimate, the bane of my life as a melee champion. I can't get to him. Fail E, as obviously the E range is not huge on Gragas. Returning back to mid lane, the Jax, don't know what he's doing. He's trying to probably kill our, trying to kill our AD carry. At this point, he's quite strong. I move in to try and kill the Lux, do my ultimate combo, that type of thing, but don't manage to get the kill as I was CC'd by the Thresh. So at this current point, we have 2 legendaries in our team. We have myself and the Ezreal, so pretty good going. And we're just basically starting to siege, starting to get the towers, that type of thing. Now I'm zoning her completely. I don't want her anywhere near us. But as you can see, the Darius is moving into position. Now I'm trying to kill the Lux here. Full combo, again, doesn't manage to do much. And a Darius appears. Oh, always happens. He manages to get the shutdown on me, so I'm not legendary anymore. And then he does try to get to the Ezreal as well, but he's unsuccessful. So right now, our Ezreal is the only one that is legendary on our team. So yeah. Now if we look at the CS, me and Ezreal basically being the same, and there's a rage quit, I believe. One thing I say, never rage quit. Don't be that person. You know, if you rage quit, you're never going to get better. You're never going to be up in the high ELOs. Even if you think you deserve to be higher ELO, and you're someone that rages, someone that does that type of thing, someone that blames other people for your mistakes, you're never going to get higher ELO. So that's the game, guys. They did actually argue with each other in chat, saying that they should be blaming each other, which if you are a team, work as a team, work things out as a team. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Obviously, it wasn't squeaky clean at the start, but then it moved into quite a successful game for my part and the Ezreal, as well as my team in general. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and remember, keep playing League of Legends.